That looked pretty in sync to me. I don't know for y'all, but it looked pretty in sync to me. So
Yeah.
that's iconic. And
Would never
this
happen
time
if
for
we
real,
tried.
yeah. And this time for real, it is a different week, and I am so excited to get back into this. If you haven't watched the other episodes, don't worry. We definitely didn't film them back to back to back, and this one is actually in a different week. Don't worry about it. Anyways, oli oli oli, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come for us to quench your thirst. I'm Eduardo, the Mexican representative of this podcast. I'm here to talk shit and get hit. As I've said, we're back, different week for real this time, and I am so excited to talk about this episode because I would say this is the most iconic episode of the season. Yeah, I'm excited. Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided to wear my Mo Heart shirt, which is actually one of the very first drag queen shirts I got. It was probably in the first 5 that I ever bought. But right now, I am just drinking some water.
And hi, I'm River, your Brazilian correspondent here on The Cup, and I am also just drinking some water out of a regular cup today. Well.
Yeah, because this time it is a different week and you don't have to.
It is a different week.
Cup.
Yes.
Yeah, we're breaking the illusion at this point. If you watch the other episodes, we're breaking the illusion at this point. It was all in one recording. It was wild. We were going crazy.
It was a long day.
But yeah, same day, 3 hours, 4 hours. It was wild, but very fun. And we're gonna talk about another episode. We're gonna talk about La Más Draga season 1, episode 4. But before we do that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things down below. All of our other channels are down in the description if you want to talk about Eurovision, if you want to see us talk about wrestling, if you want to see us talk about other reality television. We have other channels for those, so go check those out as well. We also have merch that I don't think none of us have at this point. Yay! But you can get your merch at etsy.com, and you can get your cup mug, your cup bottle, your cup socks, and all of the other things. So check those out in the description below. Shall we get started with this episode?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. We get back into the NYX Lounge. I keep wanting to call it the workroom by accident. It is not the workroom. It is the NYX Lounge. And Deborah Mean is gone. R.I.P. Deborah Mean. Rest in peace.
Yes, the fun
She
is gone
dead.
too. Okay.
The fun is gone, apparently. All the girls are so upset.
The mean
is gone, and the meme is gone. Yeah, all of the girls are just really upset that Deborah left because apparently she was the only one bringing the fun in this competition, which, is a little wild, in my opinion, because I think all of this, but you would think with all of these strong personalities, especially with Margaret, you would think that there would be a lot of fun already, but apparently not. Apparently Deborah was bringing the party, and everyone is sad. Everyone is upset, and we have a very long moment of confessionals where everyone's just saying that they love her and that they all kind of fell in love with her, which, I appreciate, but after seeing that runway last episode, I can't say I'm mad she went home.
Right.
Yeah.
It traumatized.
But I definitely appreciate the fact that she brought a lot of joy to the people around her. I love knowing that. So
yeah.
I did too.
Well,
but then we
go.
Yeah, I was going to talk about how Johnny just is like, hey, we are going to be checking every little detail now. Details matter. And Bárbara, never wear that wig again.
Fully. He's like, retire the
Retire
wig
it
now.
Burn it.
It is done. It is old. It is busted. Burn it. Get rid of it. Goodbye. Go home.
I can't say he's wrong. You know what I mean? I can't disagree.
Yeah, sometimes it's time to let go of the wig. And Bárbara does say that, normally she doesn't do her own hair. Normally it's Cordelia that does her hair. And so, it makes sense why she's struggling a little bit with her hair. But we will get back to this in just a moment because Johnny actually just comes in and just straight up tells us what the challenge is. Like no preamble, no nothing, no hi girls, how are you doing? How are you feeling? No. It's hey girls, so today we're talking about alebrijes. So we are honoring alebrijes today. If you don't know what alebrijes are, what are you doing with your life? Hello? Hello? It's like the most iconic thing about Mexico. But I
Wait, did you
guess
know?
for the hello?
Did we know what?
I was going to
Hello?
ask if you knew about this Pedro Linares Lopez.
I did not know specifically about the artist that originated alebrijes.
Okay.
But I did know about the story that it all started because of a fever dream, a literal fever dream. So, it made sense.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, that's not what I immediately associate with alebrijes. Alebrijes have become such a bigger thing than just the little sculptures that we create as pieces of art here in Mexico. They've also become just part of like culture and the Day of the Dead. And like, if you've seen Coco, you've seen like a lot of the representation that like alebrijes mean to us in the afterlife and everything. Like, there's a lot of like mixing of like cultures of like the pre-Hispanic and then these little figurines. And yeah, we're honoring this weird fever dream of a creature by doing a runway
Very drag, by the
about
way.
it.
Putting
Yeah,
those two things, it makes sense. It just makes sense.
yeah. I think it's just like iconic, honestly. Like mixing this like insane amount of maximalist like sculpting with drag just makes a lot of sense to me. So I really appreciated this challenge.
Yeah. This
Uh,
kind of made me jealous because, like, if, like, during my childhood, if Alebrijes
mhm.
were a thing here, oh my gosh, you have no idea how many of those I would have been drawing and making up because, like, I already liked the idea of drawing animals or creatures or things like that, but just kind of marrying the two, I would have lived for that. So I'm kind of jealous that's not part of our culture here. Maybe we
Well,
should
who says
steal
you
it.
can't?
Maybe you should
I mean, you
appropriate
you
it.
Yes,
Right. Why not?
you
What's
already
stopping you?
appropriate most of our culture, so what's
right.
stopping you at this point? Uh, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I've always thought that like when American people take our culture and kind of give it their own spin, I think it's always interesting, and I
Mhm.
always appreciate it because it's like honoring our culture. So it's no time
It's
like the
always the
present.
Sheen
You can
version,
still do
let's be
it.
honest. It's the AliExpress
Yeah,
version every time. And I
it
love
will
it.
be the
It's
Express
valid.
Sheen version, but you know
Yeah.
what? I still appreciate it, and it's a twist on it. So
I want to make an
no time like the present.
Alebrije. My cat. I want to make her into an Alebrije.
Honestly,
That would be fun.
honestly, yeah, that'd be cute. There's a lot of dog alebrijes. I haven't seen a lot of cat alebrijes, so that
Mhm.
would be cute. Uh, but yeah, we're doing an alebrije challenge. But before we get into that, uh,
Mhm.
since Johnny said that the girls are struggling with their hair, they're struggling real hard with their hair. We're bringing in an expert. We're bringing in someone that knows how to do this, and we're bringing in a person that's known for doing several like theater companies and acts in like works in the wig department of very iconic theater. I believe she worked with Dana Paola in Wicked here in Mexico, so she's worked in some pretty big things. Uh, yeah, we have Chio coming in to help
Chio.
out the girls with the wigs. Rocio, if you want to call her by her full name. Uh, but that's not the only surprise we get. We get another special guest in this episode. Um, so Johnny tells us that Cordelia loves to do wigs. She loves to do
Mhm.
hair, and that's what she does best. And that it would be a real shame if she were to miss this class that we're about to have. So what happens? Cordelia just comes back in and is just gonna be here for the remainder of the time that Chio is here. And then she's just gonna leave. She's not even gonna talk to the camera. She's just gonna be here. It's just a presence that you have to deal with at this point.
They were like, hey, free class. Here you go.
Yep. F
Okay.
Deborah means drag.
Right? I'm like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking throughout the entire thing. I was like, I
because she
guess
also needed
Deborah
help with
isn't good
that wig
enough.
last week. I mean,
Lord,
hello.
Mhm.
Lord.
Let's not.
Yeah, they
We
should
don't
have
need to
also
go
brought her
that.
back because Lord knows she needed help with that
Right.
specific wig. Anyways,
I do have two things to say regarding what we've talked about so far. So it is worth noting that I was able to get subtitles back. After episode 2 and 3, there were no subtitles. I got some really rough translations this time. But what's funny about that is every time they would talk about Chio, in the subtitles, it would say file. And I'm like, why is it just calling her file? F-I-L-E. And I'm like, is the Spanish word for file similar to Chio?
No.
I think maybe the auto translate was misunderstanding. The closest thing I could find in Google, because I was curious, is there a word like archio, like archive?
Like archive?
So I'm thinking maybe it thought that's what they were saying, and so it was translating file.
Be.
They were all like, "Oh, we're so happy to have file here."
Hi, file.
Hi, file. Please welcome to the stage, file. Honestly, I could see a drag queen with that name.
Right.
Fully.
But also, if I did not have subtitles on this episode, I fully would have been like, "Oh wow, Cordelia is back in the competition. Cool. Welcome back. What a twist." And then I would have been so confused when she didn't walk on the runway later.
Like, whoop, something happened. She get eliminated before the runway.
Did she quit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so random, but I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
me too.
I respect it because they were like, Cordelia loves wigs, so might as well, right?
Yep.
Like, what's the point in excluding her in this? Yeah. Apparently Chio's very good at helping the girls out. I don't know much about wigs, so I cannot tell you if any of what she said is accurate or helpful in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, she helps the girls out.
The only thing that I know, because I'm on the same boat, but the only thing that I know that was actual very helpful advice is the combing, that like you start from, like you go down and then you go from the bottom of your hair to the top of your hair. And that's for wigs and real hair, so work.
Yeah. The only thing I know kind of about like theater production is that when either costumes or wigs start to smell, you do spray them with vodka. So that's the only thing I was like, that's accurate. Okay, sure.
Interesting.
And that's it. Yeah, that's something that theater people do. When you start to stink up your costume, you just spray vodka on it.
I think they just have extra vodka lying around because, theater. So it's
theater.
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone stops while making out and having intercourse to spray their vodka that's remaining from the party onto their costumes, because that's what theater is all about. If you haven't done theater, you're missing out. Best parties of my life, honestly. But yeah, Chio leaves at some point after helping the girls out. There's not much we can say about Chio. She just seemed like a genuine person. She seemed nice. Bye, File. Please,
we're gonna file her away.
Chio, if you start doing drag, please have the drag name File. That would be super funny and super iconic. Yeah, please do that, Chio. But yeah, we get straight into like the girls are starting to work on their makeup and their costumes, and the amount of times I saw Eva put on that back piece like over and over again was kind of wild.
Was it the same footage like 4 times?
That's what I thought. It's either the same footage 4 times in a row or just Eva just fucking around with this back piece. I don't know. But it was like the amount of times that I saw her just do this with her back piece, I was like, what is going on? What is she doing with her life? Anyways, that's not what we're going to talk about.
Behind this, is there like a meaning to it, a message behind it? Who knows?
I can tell you right now. No.
My eyes were glued to the subtitles, so I missed everything going on. Like, I kind of wish there wasn't subtitles so I could actually watch the episode.
You need to... I'm going to start giving you Spanish classes at this point so that you can, like, watch the seasons without actually, like, needing subtitles. I am going to start committing to that because it's tough sometimes. So, like, I'm going to help you out here. Anyways, This is not what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Eva just putting on the same back piece for 20 minutes. which I think was so funny. But anyways, we have several conversations throughout this entire time, and all of them are very emotional and very like. A lot of Emmy moments are happening. If we didn't have any Emmy moments in any episode before this, they packed all of them into one episode.
Made up.
Yeah, made up for time, absolutely. Because Lord, there's so much that I have written down, and it's kind of insane. First conversation we have is between Margaret and Bárbara. Bárbara was kind of upset that she was in the bottom last episode, and she says that she like was really proud of her outfit last challenge, and that she like worked on it really hard, and that she got really down on herself, and like Margaret just tells her not to worry, that her drag is valid, because apparently Bárbara was like, "Oh, I fucking suck at drag. I should quit." And Margaret was like, "No, please don't. You're great. I love you." And yeah.
Me, after hearing one bad thing about myself, I should quit.
Fully. Me in school when like they tell me my art isn't perfect, I'm like, should I just drop out of school? Fully.
Me if I get a negative comment on a podcast.
I'm not doing the podcast anymore. I quit.
Yes. You and that controversy happened.
Relatable
fully.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a conversation of like, this is a competition, so they're not getting the applause that they're like super used to getting in bars, and that being in a competition is really tough because you're just not getting praise. Like getting praise is hard.
And also the people looking at you are not drunk. That is a factor as well.
Yeah, they're not going there to just be entertained. They're going there to find the little details that make your drag not absolutely perfect already. So I understand this conversation of like, oh, getting my art critiqued sucks. Because as someone that's studying art and design, you get that a lot, and you're just like, should I just stop? Should I quit? Am I just not good at this? And you get tougher skin as the things go along, and Bárbara is starting to grow that tough skin. It's just through some tears and through some tough times. Deborah also mentions that it's really hard getting critiques because she works really hard, and because she is like such an iconic name in drag here in Mexico, it's like tough that she's not excelling at the competition and she feels really mediocre.
Mm-hmm. See, but during all of this, I was thinking about what Lady Gaga did in an interview recently where people were talking about how she was talking about how people didn't like Joker 2, and then she answered like, sometimes people just don't like stuff, and that's okay. And and it's very that like, and also just because people don't like it doesn't mean it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, but I understand like being the person that is receiving negative critique must not feel good. But also you need to like get a grip and be like, just because these people don't like it doesn't mean that I suck. Period.
Yeah. Especially when like I understand it more to the point of view of like you're viewed as this like very like pillar of your community, and then once you go out of that community, you're being told that you are not absolutely perfect, and so that critique is also really tough.
Yeah.
So I understand that they were struggling a little bit here as well, but we quickly move on to Eva as well, and Eva talks about like she used to be, before she was doing drag, she was like this sex icon here in Mexico. And then she started doing drag and getting more in touch with her feminine side. And that this transition was a little jarring to a lot of her friends and a lot of her family and a lot of people. And that like she got a lot of pride from like turning people on, which was really weird.
In my point of drag.
In and out of drag, which I respect, because that's me, baby. That's me. I am the person that's questioning my sexuality because of Eva. So you're doing something correct there. And then we get into like the real meat of our conversations.
Before we move on, just because Eva, when she was talking about that and like when how she found her feminine side and like found power in that, she also talked about how much she loves empowered and strong women, and how she finds that so like exciting and hot and like just inspiring. And I just love that because same. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
And also I love every time I love when we talk about like masculinity and femininity in the being attracted to whatever that is, and like kind of mixing both and not knowing if you're like, why am I attracted to this and why, like, I love that because it just shows that it's a spectrum, and it's labels don't mean anything. Like if you are attracted to something, just be attracted to it. You know what I mean? Who cares? If it's hot, it's hot. Period.
Absolutely.
And Eva is hot on that note.
Yeah, Eva is hot. In and out of drag. Like, damn. I don't know if she was wearing the overalls. Was she wearing the overalls this episode, or was this next episode? I don't remember.
I don't think it was this one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, next episode, she's wearing overalls and no shirt underneath them.
Love it.
And I was into it. But yeah, now we get into the real meat and potatoes of like the whole conversation and like the most, I think, iconic moment of the NYX Lounge this episode, which is the talk about bullying. Yay. So I don't know who asked the question. And a few people say like, oh yeah, I was bullied when I was younger. I think Eva says that she was. And then we later get told a little bit more about their stories, and we will get to that. But what we first get is that like Bárbara wasn't bullied, she was the bully. And this is kind of like the situation that we got from, I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before that, with Margaret and Bárbara, that like this is the kind of attitude that Bárbara used to have when she was a little younger and a little more naive, that she was really volatile towards other people, and that like now at this point of time she feels really bad about it. And like I really appreciate this like growth from Bárbara. We don't obviously get to see it, but we get to hear it, and I think
like
it's really appreciated.
Like being open about that being her journey, you know.
Yeah. And
one thing that I loved is that like when she said that she felt bad about it, I was like, good. If you feel bad about doing bad things, that's good. You should. You know,
yeah, that shows growth.
If you don't, then you got something to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And like she says that a lot of people have come up to her from her past and have told her like, oh, you hurt me a lot. And that she feels really bad about it, and that like she doesn't want to perceived any longer as like as a monster that like she kind of perceived herself as. And that Bárbara used to be like this counterpart to this personality that she has out of drag, but that she kind of has corrupted her at this point, and that she wants to get out of this. And I really appreciate this growth. I really, really appreciate this growth.
The self-awareness to me is like the one thing that I love the most about Bárbara is like she's aware and she's not afraid to like say the truth and just because she's like, I was like that, but I hate that I was like that, and I'm trying to not be like that anymore. I love that.
Yeah, if my bullies like went on national television and said like, I used to be a bully and I feel really bad about it, I would feel like some sort of pride in like, I'm glad that you do. Like, I am glad that you got to this point. And so I hope that the people that Bárbara used to like have issues with kind of have some respect for her at the very least. And we know that Margaret clearly has, because we have a little conversation here as well, where Margaret tells her that they've grown from this like issues that they used to have, and that they now love and respect each other very much. And it just shows you that people can grow. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised this isn't a storyline we get more often, because there's got to be other people who have been the bullies that go on like Drag Race or shows similar, but they just don't talk about it for whatever reason. And I think it's not uncommon for people who are bullied to turn around and bully other people. So I kind of wish people would address that, because you really do have to come to terms with that. I mean, I've been there too, River. So
yeah, like hurt people. And so when you are hurting, you tend to lash out in a very violent manner sometimes.
You don't want to keep it in, so you're just like,
right.
I don't want
it's happened to me. I know, River, you've said it's happened to you. I'm sure it's happened to David as well. And it's like a very human thing for it to happen. If you're hurt and you want to lash out, it tends to happen like without you thinking.
Or not even that too, but like in my case, for example, I started to hang out with the bullies and bully other people so that I wouldn't be the target.
Right.
I didn't want to do it at first, But I was like, okay, I know that if I don't join them, they are going to start coming at me. And so I did that to protect myself. But in protecting myself, I hurt other people. So like, there's a lot of reasons why people hurt others.
Yeah. I guess people are like past bullies are kind of ashamed to talk about it on national television, but I really respect Bárbara for like talking about it. We also get some talk about Deborah and Deborah being bullied when she was younger. Apparently she was severely bullied for like being a bigger person, which like, you know, it's kind of wild to me because when I see her, I don't see like, oh, she's the big queen, but apparently most people do. But apparently she was bullied for being somewhat like bigger and being really flamboyant to the point of like, she started thinking about self-harming herself. And like she took that experience and she has become a lot stronger because of it. And I really resonated with a lot of that because that's all very similar to my experience of like, I used to get bullied. I hurt myself in very different ways. And I think now I come out of it in a very different manner and I've become stronger because of it. So I felt very connected to Deborah in this moment. And yeah, Deborah's not the only one.
She also touched on the fact that she was not only bullied by her peers, but by her teachers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
which
that
is wild.
Is just, oh my God.
Which has happened to me. One time, one of my teachers told me that I looked like a bum, that I looked like an idiot. And I was like, hello? I'm going to jump off a bridge, if you excuse me. So, as I said,
myself in front of you. Does that feel
nice? I'm going to change the trajectory of your life. Yeah, so as I said, I felt very connected to Deborah with this conversation here. And she's not the only one. Eva apparently was also bullied when she was younger for being very flamboyant and for hanging out with the girls, which is also what happened to me. Yay! This is just like, I think, a very universal queer experience. I don't know. I can just say it from my point of view. Yeah. From my point of view and from like my friend's point of view, that this happens a lot, at least here in Mexico, where like you're very flamboyant and you hang out with the girls, you tend to get some pretty severe bullying, especially when you're younger. So, as I said,
one thing those girls will do, at least, I mean, I did because it was my cousin, but we will not let it slide. I didn't. I had my cousin and also like my best friend in high school was also gay, and like people didn't really bully him because he was like the rich kid, so it was like, you know,
we can't bully the rich kid,
right? He would like pay for stuff for everyone, so it was kind of like, we'll leave it alone. But if it like, you're lucky if you have the girls that will not let it slide and like will stand with you, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to all my girlfriends in junior high. You're a real one.
You'll have your back.
Yeah, I hope you do, girl, because I know I have yours. I remember all of you. I remember. Shout out to Aurora. Anyways, and now we get the big moment. This is the Emmy moment of the Emmy moments of all the Emmy moments that we got this episode. We get a very vulnerable moment with Margaret, where she also mentions that she was bullied for also being bigger like Deborah and for also being just hyper feminine, and that she found it really hard to fit in, and that led her to like a really dark path, and that she's just like really proud of like having gotten to know herself, and that she's now like a super activist of like against bullying, and I really respect that, and especially now knowing that like Margaret has transitioned. Like I think seeing all of this growth in this timeline, it really puts like a lot of it into perspective in my point of view, from seeing her here to in Drag Race to now out of Drag Race and to what she's doing now. It's like a real like full circle moment for her. And Margaret starts crying at this point, which is kind of shocking for a lot of the girls because Margaret tends to be really closed off. And we don't get to see a lot of vulnerability from Margaret normally. We get to see a lot of confidence from her. So I was really happy to see this vulnerable side of Margaret in this time, because when you see someone that's so confident and so like that loves themselves so much, it's like hard to imagine that they weren't always like that they have struggled to get to where they are. And that's exactly what I think of Margaret sometimes. Like, I view her as someone that's so confident in herself that, like, sometimes I forget that she must have had a tough time growing up.
And I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, like, when I stop and think about it, all of the people that I know that are the most confident without being an asshole about it, usually are people that went through hell, hated themselves for a long time, and found confidence. And now that they found it, they will not let anyone take that away from them because they remember how it was to hate yourself. And I don't see a lot of people that are confident and are assholes about it. They usually haven't really gone through much. They were the people that would usually afflict pain onto others.
Yes.
And so they don't really look inside. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of find that most people that are confident and have a good attitude about that are people that went through hell.
Yeah.
That's my personal
exactly.
experience.
No, I agree with you, but sometimes I forget that, like, those people that are, like, I see so confidently and that are so, like, in poise of themselves and, like, respect themselves so much, sometimes I forget that they must have gone through so much hell to get to where they are now, which is exactly what happens with, like, Margaret in my point of view.
And it makes me respect them even more.
Yeah, which is good because this episode really makes Margaret shine, not only here, but, like, in the runway, and we will get to it. But yeah, I don't think we get any other things from the NYX Lounge. I don't know if y'all have anything else that we haven't mentioned.
There was just one quote that Eva said that I love. It's kind of, we've heard it a lot, but it's just, after all of the conversations that happen, it just hit me strong, which is turning pain into art. And I just love that. I love that.
Wonderful. Yeah, we get a big group hug, and then we get straight into the runway. Yay!
Yay.
Oh, we said fuck River, apparently.
Oh.
They said fuck my drag.
David said fuck your drag.
They said I'm going to use a trap door.
Nope, it was the format.
It's fine.
We're trying out a new thing, and it's weird.
Yeah, the scenes are weird. StreamYard is wild. It's new. We're figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse some technical difficulties. All right, everybody? All right. So we have our panel of judges, who is everyone we already know. We have Johnny, we have Daddy, we have Lorena, we have Letal, and we have our very special guest judge. We have Regina Orozco, who is an actress.
Not Regina Voce?
No, that's not Regina Voce, but that's maybe where Regina got her name. It might very well be. I'm not sure. I don't know, like, where Regina got her name, but it could very much be Regina Orozco. Because this outfit is giving me Regina Voce a little bit.
Very.
But yeah, Regina Orozco is an actress, a singer, and an activist for gay rights. But what I see most, like what I know her mostly from, is for her performance in the movie Profundo Carmesí, which is a movie that she was in. That's what I know her most from. But she's also a singer, and she said here that she has closed down places to support, like, against discrimination, which just made me like her more. I love Regina. I think she was great here.
I like her because she definitely tells the girls like it is. Like, she's not afraid to hold back.
She's not afraid to hold back, but she does it in a very nice way. Like, this is the type of critiques that I always appreciate. Like, the type of critiques that's like, I see where you're going with. It doesn't work for me. Maybe you could have done this or that. Or, like, I think, or, like, it seems...
Not afraid to hold back doesn't make sense. She's not going to hold back.
Yeah, she's not going to hold back in her critique, and she's going to tell you how it is, but she's going to say it in a very nice way and in a way that makes you want to, like, improve more than, like, oh, I should quit. And so...
More than hate yourself. You're like, no, I'm going to do better.
Yeah. This is basically the, like, Lolita if she was a lot nicer. This is the type of critiques that Lolita would give if she was a lot nicer, I think. Which we will get Lolita at some point in the following seasons, which I'm so excited for you to meet, River. Lolita is wild.
Oh, I can't wait because I saw a little bit of her in You that one day.
That one time.
I'm sure I'm going to love it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's wild. But yeah, we get straight into the runway. Also, Lorena looks great because she always does.
Oh my God. I mean.
Category is La Más Alebrije, which means the most Alebrije. We've already talked about what Alebrijes are. Let's get into it. Our first girl is Lana. What do we think about Lana?
I like it. Okay, I know what Alebrijes are. I know, and I don't see how this is not an interpretation, a drag interpretation of that.
Mm-hmm.
It is to me. Maybe I don't know what the judges really wanted different in this. To me, my biggest problem with this is the fit of the pants because it just is a mess. But I do love the mix of patterns and mix of colors. I love the horns and all of the like tentacle shapes. Like the shapes are just really interesting. It's very visually interesting and appealing to me because I love shit like this. And her makeup and the prosthetic was just so well done. Like very impressive. I really enjoyed this.
It's funny because as soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is very river coded." Like I had a feeling you would like this.
Seen.
Yeah, because there is a lot going on, and I know like more is more for you. Más es más, right? And for me, it was a little bit too much, but I still liked aspects of it. Like I really like the face. I like the clashing patterns to a degree. I think maybe if it was a little reined in and there weren't as many patterns going on, I think I could have appreciated a little bit more. But yeah, the issue for me that I couldn't get past was the fit of it all. It just felt baggy, not just the pants, but up top too. And I'm like, could we not have had a better form-fitting suit? Because that really was enough to take her out of running for the top 3 for me. And by default, she would have to be in the bottom 2.
I think maybe she lost weight during the season because the fit issue is not. It's
a constant problem.
Yeah,
with Lana, and I think she does mention it at some point that she has lost weight a little bit, and so it does make sense that she's having a lot of fit issues, especially if like everything's supposed to be skin tight. Once you lose weight, it obviously is no longer skin tight, and you can see all the wrinkles and everything, which is my biggest issue with this outfit. That and the shoe. I'm not a particularly big fan of the shoe, but it's mostly because like it's a wedge, and I don't like a wedge. But I tend to agree with you, River. Like I see this as Lana's interpretation of an alebrije. If Lana was an alebrije, this is what it would look like. This is Lana's style already. She already likes to do a lot of clashing patterns, a lot of like weird conceptual stuff. I've seen this like horns quite a bit on not only hers, but also in like other girls' like outfits. And so I know it's become a little like it's come back into fashion to have these kind of horns. And there's a lot about this that I really enjoy. I enjoy the silhouette of it. I enjoy the makeup of it. The prosthetic is really well done. And like for the short amount of time that they must have had to do this makeup, I think it's like impressive to have pulled this off. Do I think this is a traditional alebrije? No. But I don't need everything to be traditional for it to be good. I think this is an homage with a spin of like Lana's style of alebrije, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it's unique and different. And I tended to disagree with a lot of the comments that the judges were telling her. I understand that it can be too much for some of the people. For some people, like I understand the critique of like so many clashing patterns can be a little too jarring, and it does look a little clownish, but I still like it. So I don't know. I really enjoy this outfit. Maybe the performance wasn't good though. The performance wasn't perfect.
Yeah, her walk is not the best.
Yeah, the amount of times that I saw her lick that one tentacle was kind of insane, and we get more of it like as the episode goes along, and we will get to that. But yeah, scars.
Well, they did tell them at the beginning of the episode that this is an Alebrije in their style, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like most of them did that, and then got critiqued for it.
And I would be okay if the critique was something that isn't in that realm. Like if it was anything else, if they talk about the fit of the pant, like literally anything. But saying that it's not
yeah. Scars.
82.
65.
83. Okay, moving on. We have our baby Bárbara. Thoughts?
When she was talking to the judges and she explained it a little bit more, I understand why she did this look. Do I think it was the best choice to go with in this direction? No. No, because see, I there are a lot of things that I like about it, which is the makeup is my favorite part. First of all, love the makeup. And I really like the shapes in the skirt. Like just the skirt part is really cool. But, and I kind of like the idea of the like little shell behind her, but I don't think it makes sense for this runway. I like that in general. I don't think I like it for this. I like the boot as well, but I don't think the boot makes sense for this theme. So most of the things that I like doesn't really make sense with this. So I'm kind of conflicted. But I think the one thing for me that bothered me the most is that she was holding the thing that was supposed to be on her head. Why is she holding? Why? It doesn't make sense. And also this wig. No.
Cordelia couldn't help her.
Right. And
Chio also
had a wig class. Like, come on.
Yeah, Chio couldn't save this, apparently.
No.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, River. This was my least favorite, and it was the one I got the least Alebrije from.
Yes.
I was like, is she a flower? Because I thought those were flower petals behind her. I couldn't tell that it was supposed to be a shell until later on during the critiques. And I was also like, why is she holding this helmet? When she put it on later on, I'm like, well, maybe
someone said it looked like a Pokemon. I'm like, actually, you're right.
Yes.
It didn't look very good with it on, but I think I got more Alebrije with it on at least. So I wish she had just kept it on. She's like some sort of mermaid sea creature type thing.
Fairy, kind of.
Girl, I don't know. As like the person that's grown up with Alebrijes, I can tell you this is not an Alebrije. I don't see it in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing about like the helmet is the closest that we get to an Alebrije, and then she's not wearing it. So that really like screws it up for me. Like the amount of whites and like light pinks that are in this outfit do not make sense with the absolute neon and black color scheme that Alebrijes tend to have. So I was really confused with the color scheme that we were getting. I wasn't getting animal in any of it until I got a close-up of the skirt, and I was like, I guess if I squint hard enough, they can be tentacles. If I just squint really hard and shake my head like this,
kind of.
Maybe that. But like, she just looks like a mermaid to me, which is not what we're going for. We're going for Alebrije, and this is not giving me in any way, shape, or form Alebrije. I also have an issue with the boot. The boot in and of itself would be fine if it wasn't fogging up, but it was fogging up. And that's not good. If you're going to wear a clear shoe, you have to find a way for it not to fog up. And unfortunately for Bárbara, it was fogging up like crazy. So it just looked really messy to me, and it wasn't giving me the vibe in any way, shape, or form of Alebrije. So I was really disappointed, but the makeup is good, so I can at least give it that. Yeah, scores.
I hate to do this because I like her, but 56.
I gave her a 60.
I also gave her a 60. Okay, moving on. We have Deborah La Grande. Thoughts?
Okay. I'll start with what I like because it's I like it more than I don't like it. But first of all, the wings, work of art, incredible, amazing. The I don't know what you call like the little the dolls kind of like what she was holding. The fact that it was Johnny and Lorena, I died. I died. So good. I love it. Love that. And I like the makeup and the hair, but I don't like the hair and the makeup with the outfit. You know, because here's my thing. It's two different color palettes that are not like there's nothing lilac in the outfit for the hair to be like, you know what I mean? Like if it had elements of those colors in like throughout the outfit somewhere, it would be fine. But it just, to me, it looks like two different looks. So I really like the hair and makeup, but it looks weird with the outfit. And then the one thing that I don't like is the dress that she's wearing. This dress, I like the color combination, love it. Why is just a yellow stripe in the middle, giving you no shape at all? And then why is the yellow in the bottom larger than the yellow in the middle? And then also, why doesn't it hit the floor? Also, why is the mermaid-ish in the dress is a mess to me. Everything else, I love.
We're agreeing a lot, River.
Damn.
I actually think out of all five of them, I think Deborah is the one that took Alebrije as it actually is and made it fit her style the best. Because I very much get her style of drag in all of this. Am I a fan of her style of drag, though? I'm not so sure. So I do love the wings. The wings are cool. I do agree. Like, why is everything so muted in the top, like with the wig and makeup, and then it's so bright below it? It just feels not as cohesive as it could be. But this dress, I cannot get into. I can't get into it. It's just not for me. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's definitely not something
I'm saying it's bad.
Enjoy. Okay.
It's okay. I can say it. I'll say it for you.
Yeah. But
yeah, and I'll also say it.
She
it
tried.
Is bad.
She tried.
Yeah, it seems like we're all in agreement here. The wings are incredible work here, and they're like some of the most like when you see alebrijes with like this type of wings, they look like this with this like bright colors, the polka dots, and like made out of the same material like paper mache. It's very, very traditional, and I really, really enjoyed it. I also really like the hair and the makeup, but I agree with you. It doesn't really make sense with the color palette that's going on in the bottom. Maybe if the hair was like a bright pink, and instead of doing the purples, we did, as I said, pink and yellows, it would make more sense than with the lilacs and the purples. It's just like different shades of like the warm and the cools of like the purples and the pinks aren't merging together particularly well, which is unfortunate because separately these pieces work really well and they're both really good, but together they don't particularly merge well, and the dress itself is bad. The dress is bad. As I said, I like this pink and I like this yellow. They're very traditional, specifically in alebrijes as well. Like this very bright pink, I absolutely adore. But the weird stripe down the middle of the dress is weird. And I agree with a lot of what you already said, River. I don't want to beat a dead horse already. But the fit is not particularly good, but the style is there, and I do agree with you, David. This is like Alebrije in Deborah's style, which is exactly what we were looking for. And so I think she is successful in that way, and she did perform it in a good manner. It's just there's details here and there that make me not love the outfit, unfortunately. Scores.
78.
69.
78.
Look at us agreeing. Love that.
There you go. This is wild. Anyways, let's move on to another unfortunate outfit. We have Eva.
Look, listen. First of all, when she came out, I gagged, I screamed, I lived in this, right? But then when we went to the judges' critiques, and then she didn't have all of the things, I was like, oh, okay, it's a black bodysuit, work. Like the presentation was so good, and also the makeup, great, love it. And then the back piece that we saw a million times before, like anyway, crazy. But I did count the presentation a lot because it does really make a difference. Because like Lana's look I really loved, but the way that she presented was like, eh. And then the outfit itself is not much, but the full look with everything that is the way that it is presented is really great. Do I wish that the black bodysuit was more embellished and like just had the splashes of color? Literally, if she would have just taken like fabric paint and just like splatter on the thing and just like make it colorful, like free hand, you know what I mean? That would have already made it a lot better. Or anything that would resemble what she's trying to do, because like that's the one thing the one critique that I have is just she should have embellished the black bodysuit so that it would make more sense with the theme. But the presentation was so good.
Well, I agree with a lot of what River said.
I can't go first anymore. I can't go first.
No, so as soon as she came out, like I really appreciated the spectacle of it all. I was like, oh, she's high up. And I'm a sucker for looks that are like stilts, like where they're on actual stilts and they have like arm stilts too. And this is maybe the highest version I've seen of that. So that was really cool. And I think I was a little mesmerized by that at first. And then I kept looking at the look. I'm like, this is literally just a black bodysuit. And so I just had to I kept deducting points the more I looked at it. But I agree. Her makeup was great. Just the awe factor, I give her points for that, but I really wish the look itself was better. And it's kind of a shame that we don't have her on if this was a regular Drag Race show and then she came back for an all-star season, she would pick this look to be her improved look that she brings back. And I would pay to see what she would do with this kind of look now, because it would be incredible.
Eva, give us a redemption of this outfit, because Lord knows you need it. I agree with the spectacle. Coming out in stilts is iconic. It is really good, and we haven't seen this high as stilts in a while, and never with also the arm stilts as well. We've seen Ivy Winters walk down the runway with stilts before that were around this height or maybe a little lower, but we've never had the four-legged creature look that's this high. So I appreciate that. However, I'm here to judge the outfit, and this outfit is bad. Just straight up bad. My biggest problem with it is that the stilts on the hands are not covered in the fur. If you're gonna wear the stilts, at least cover them up. I don't want,
or in black, so it looks like it's her arm.
It looks like your arm. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There were things that could have been done to make the stilts work better. If you're gonna cover them, go all the way and cover them. And if you're not gonna cover them, at least paint them. And she didn't commit to either one. She covered the ones in the back, but she didn't cover the ones in the front. And it looks like she painted half of them black, and then the other half she left them silver. Did not enjoy that. And then the actual outfit in and of itself, the only part that is actually Alebrije is the back piece that we saw her put on a bajillion times in the NYX Lounge, and that's it. There is nothing else
legs?
going on. Yeah, it's like crab, weird, like spiky
Right.
things that are very like, you see a lot of like spiky alebrijes. So I do see alebrije from the back piece a little bit. The fur is not something I would immediately associate with alebrijes, but at the same time, it makes sense if we're like mixing
It's like
different animals together. Mm-hmm. But like just overall, basic that it left me wanting a lot more. Sure, the performance is good, but I'm scoring the outfit, which is not good, unfortunately. So speaking of scores.
Well, I'm scoring everything because this is different than Drag Race. So that's solely the reason. Because if we had like challenges, I would judge just the look. But with taking everything into consideration, I gave it a 75.
I gave it a 72.
I gave it a 66. Okay, let's move on to our last person. We have Margaret Y Ya with this iconic outfit. What do we think?
This was so good. When she came out and everything was like neon and just like so good. And the outfit is good, but the way that she presented was also very engaging, and it made sense with the outfit. And it was just, I couldn't look away from her. I just needed to like see everything that she was doing. It's so good. It's just, I have two things that if I could change a little bit, I think would make it even better, which is just proportion wise, like the cup around the breast could have been a little bit bigger just because her thighs are very large. So like to proportion that a little bit, because she also has stuff on the shoulders. So like the breast area could have been larger cups. And then the same thing with the headpiece that she has. I just wish that it was just exactly the way it is, just a little bit bigger. That's all. Because this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the wig. I would have liked maybe a different wig. I'm not, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, I have something new to bring to the table that River didn't. It's okay. No, I really like this for this category. I think it screams Alebrije. I wish it could have stayed like black light the whole time because I was so into that at the beginning. But even outside of that, I still like getting to see the color. I was happy she was showing off body because I know it's like sometimes the bigger girls don't feel like showing off body, and I'm glad she was out there doing it proudly and she looked great. I thought the blood was a cool effect as well. My biggest issue though was when she took off that mask and you saw that ratty ass wig. I do not like this wig at all. I think this is one of the worst wigs we've seen so far this season, and it really detracted. Like it knocked 4 points off of this look for me. But other than that, she was great. This was definitely my favorite of the night.
Yeah, it seems like this time around we're all in very similar headspaces because I agree with a lot of what's already been said as well, especially with like the wig and the cups being those little issues that aren't perfect for me. The wig is my biggest critique, but the cups, I agree with you, River, could have been bigger to really show them off. To proportion things a little bit more. But when I saw this the first time, like a couple of years ago, when I saw this for the first time walk down the runway, I was like, thank God. Thank the absolute God. Because this is what I was like hoping everyone would walk out on. Like everything is so traditional and so specific, like, and everything's so well made, and you can tell it's handmade, which I appreciate even more. Like the painting of this entire outfit is so Mexican and so like taken from Alebrijes, which I really, really appreciate. Like all of the little strokes, the imperfect strokes, and then the reds and the purples and the bright neons are incredible. And just the performance was amazing as well. everything about this just absolutely screamed Alebrije, and I loved when she opened her mouth and just blood came rushing down. Because, like Matraca said on the first season of Drag Race Mexico, we have forgotten that Alebrijes are supposed to be scary. They're supposed to be monsters. They're supposed to not be like nice to look at. And so I appreciate bringing this kind of slight horror element into Alebrijes with the blood. I thought it was a really nice touch, and I agree with you, David. I wish the whole runway was in the black light because it would have really elevated this look even more than it already does. But in and of itself, this is, I think, the most iconic look of this season for me. When I think of this season, I think of this outfit specifically. I will say that. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Absolutely. Which, let's give out scores for.
For me, it's an 86.
For me, it's a 79.
For me, it's an 88.
Because what? She ate.
What's 4 plus 4? 8. Which is exactly what Margaret did. Yeah, and then we get the critiques, and it seems like the judges mostly agree with us. Mostly. Except with Lana. Except, like, it seems like the judges really agree with David, specifically, this episode. And they mostly agree with River and I. Because we get the critiques, and we get our winner. Oh, I'm not.
Well, before we get to the winner, can we? So.
Oh yes.
We do have the La Mas or La Menos finally.
Right.
So I'm glad River's getting to see that, and that makes more sense why I was saying that the first few episodes. But my biggest issue with the critiques, or with the judging, when we saw them giving their scores. Oh, they did that after.
Like,
yeah.
What do you mean when the girls were not there? And it was
when the girls were not there. And everybody would, like, we got to see all of the judges, who their Mas and who their Menos was. And it was a tie at first between Deborah and Margaret. And then when we had the tie broken by Lorena for Margaret, Johnny kept trying to push for Deborah. And I guess, was he wanting her to change her answer? Because he kept saying, like, we really need to think about her because she's improved the most. And I'm like, this is not la más mejorada. That's not what this is. So I would have been really pissed if they ended up giving it to Deborah because she improved the most when Margaret was so much better, honestly.
Yeah. And like, I also thought it was weird.
Yeah, here's my thing. That would have made sense to me if their looks were like really close to each other. Like if it was just so close between the two of them. You know what I mean? Which was not the case here. Like Margaret was clearly much better. So
absolutely.
It's Deborah. I keep saying Deborah.
Like the Mortal Kombat character?
Sure.
You don't know her. Okay. That's fine.
No, it's because of that Drag Race episode with Simone plays a character. Like, it's Deborah. Isn't it that?
Probably.
Yeah. There you go. That makes sense as well. Okay. Well, luckily for us, Deborah doesn't win the episode. The person that does win the episode in La Más Alebrije is Margaret Y Ya.
Margaret wins.
Which I agree with.
No book Deborah.
If Deborah won with that dress, I mean, look, the credibility of the
weirder
show
things have happened.
Let's be honest.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
I will never forget some of the judging in Solo Las Mas, where like Serena winning that like Del Toro challenge. I was like, hello. So weirder things have happened. So but I'm very thankful for this. I'm very thankful that Margaret won this challenge. And we have our bottom two. We have our bottom two of Bárbara, Durango, and Lana, which was expected, but I wouldn't have put Lana here for the look. But the performance wasn't great, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And
here's my thing. I also wouldn't have put Lana in the bottom, but I don't know who I would have put in the bottom. Because, like, technically, my other lowest score is Eva. But I don't think she should have been in the bottom because of that. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Everyone else had a reason why it wouldn't make sense for them to be in the bottom. Like, Bárbara is the only one that it was, like, for sure, right? Like, consensus. But everyone else besides Margaret was like, there was a reason why they could have been and couldn't have.
Yeah. Well, Bárbara and Lana lip sync to Cielo Rojo by Regina Orozco. What did we think of this lip sync?
It was very fast. Like, quick, short.
Yeah, this was definitely the shortest lip sync that we've had, I think.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
My biggest issue with this, and not really issue, but like it was kind of tough to try and watch Lana lip sync with those prosthetics because you could barely see her mouth.
Right.
And it was like a slower song, more like emotional song. So like it's a lot about what you do with your face, right?
Yeah.
And so when I started listening to the song, I was like, oh, it's over. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of.
Yeah,
Bárbara
and also
did a good job. I like what she did with the facial expressions.
Yeah, I agree.
In the picture.
I thought the picture was iconic and really funny. But I also want to say the amount of times that Lana licked that tentacle in this lip sync, why? Why were you licking the tentacle? I am confused. This makes no sense with the lip sync. It doesn't make sense with the song. It isn't elevating your lip sync, so why are we doing it, and why are we doing it so much? Why do we keep licking it?
Which do you think happened more, her licking the tentacle or Eva putting on the back piece?
Oh, Lord. I actually think Eva putting on the back piece, because I saw it like 10 times. Like, she constantly was just like, and then like every time they cut to Bárbara talking, which she talks a lot in the NYX Lounge this episode, you could just see Eva like fiddling with her back piece. And so I think we saw more of Eva fiddling with that back piece that we saw Lana licking the tentacle, but we saw it too much. We saw Lana licking the tentacle way too much for my liking. Does
that make sense to the song in any kind of way?
No. The song is like, oh, I've lost the person that I love, and I will like, they're gone, and I will never have them again, which makes sense why Bárbara like had Cordelia's picture, because, oh, my husband was eliminated in this competition, and my husband is gone. I miss him so much.
And also, and then Lana's, the frame of the picture matched her outfit.
I noticed.
Fully,
girl,
which was iconic.
Live.
But then Lana's like licking a tentacle while like they're singing about like, oh, my lover is gone, and I'm like, hello, why? What's going on here? Hello, this is not the type of song that you want to camp up.
Yes, but also with whatever she had on, what could she have done? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. What? She was already at a huge disadvantage with the prosthetic. But I think
like,
we could.
I'm an animal and I love to lick my tail? I don't know.
I don't know. I just think that like it would have been fine if we just tried to have an emotional performance, even with the prosthetic on. I would have rather have that than having Lana constantly lick her tentacle.
Or like do the lip sync like on all fours, like you're an animal or something. Like something. I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything you all are saying. Lana was kind of doomed going into this lip sync. But even if she didn't have the prosthetic, I don't know that she could have beat Bárbara. I think Bárbara is showing that she is the lip sync queen so far this season. She's we haven't seen everybody lip sync, but specifically the Drag Race girls. But yeah, I think she would have been really hard to beat either way.
Yeah,
she's a good performer.
Yeah, which Hi Foster, which makes sense, and the judges seem to agree with us because Lana goes home, unfortunately. R.I.P. Lana. first unanimous vote, which isn't shocking.
I mean, for first unanimous vote for an elimination.
Right. Yes.
Because we had a unanimous vote for a win.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is the first unanimous for elimination, which made sense.
Made sense, but also kind of sad and tough to watch. Like, it was...
Yeah, and Lana felt really defeated when she was going. Like, right before she puts her picture on her altar, she was like, well, if the judges don't like my drag, what is the point of me being here anymore? And so it kind of sucks to have Lana leave in such a sour note of like her not having ever been like viewed by her drag, or like her having felt that the judges don't like her drag and that she doesn't belong in the competition. It's kind of tough to see that, but I get like someone had to go, and unfortunately it was Lana, and unfortunately it made sense.
Yeah, and that was my winner prediction based off of very first impressions, but that's because I really liked her promo look. I don't think anything she had quite lived up to that promo look.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, that's that. That's our episode, everybody. And this time we will actually take a break between weeks to actually not go crazy. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us your thoughts. Do you think Lana should have gone home? Should she have been in the bottom two? Do you agree with us? Do you agree with David? Do you think Margaret was the best one? Or do you think that since Deborah was the most improved, she should have won? Tell us all of your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We have merch at loungediscussions.etsy.com where you can get your cup mug, your cup bottle, and your cup socks. Right there. And yeah, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and cheers.
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 Cheers.